let me start with the prayer, because if there's a chance that I touch the cards, I do start my reads off with a prayer. I'm doing an adaptation of the Buddhist prayer for love and other mysteries today. Divine Spirit, may all beings have happiness and love. May all seek to strive for that perfect love. May sorrow be excluded from love. May communication lead to a better understanding between people. May we never be separated from love, happiness, and understanding. May we live in peace and harmony through communication and understanding. And may we believe in the equality and love that exists within all that lives. Amen. And that was my guide using something that's already written and adapting it into a different prayer. So I'd like to thank the Buddhist community for the prayer that inspired the prayer that came through. It's difficult to explain sometimes. My guide can sometimes be given a topic, and the topic then moves forward. But today, Love and Other Mysteries, I was going to talk about how things have changed. People haven't. This is the weird thing about the world we live in now. The essence of people, I don't believe has truly changed. Yes, we're more self-driven, we're more self-aware. But the essence of what we want in life, which is someone to love and be loved, is paramount, and it's something that exists in every human being. And there are ads coming in. I can't stop these ones, so please bear with the ads. And the love that's experienced is different, because we have an expectation of openness. And yet some people find it difficult to be open. Oh, thank you, Charlie. But some find it difficult to be open. And what is open? It's like that question hangs over me constantly in my own life. Some people are more adept at complaining or adept at expressing their views. And that makes it difficult for the people that have that innate. And it is, we're all different as human beings, and we need to celebrate that difference. But being different can sometimes suppress the love that we've got to give to others, or the love that we have within us to give to others. And Phoenix Full of Light, there is no list today. It's just chatting, streaming in the just chatting section. I do have the tarot deck just in case, but I am going to start talking about how we actually meet those people that we can love. And whether you take love as being between like romantic love, or whether you take love as being, oh, sweet dreams, Charlie. Or whether you take love as being love for humanity. I've always taken love to be being for humanity, But that's me. I'm weird. I'm weird, and I take 4 weeks to get over a flu. It is getting better, thank goodness. Now, in terms of meeting people, we're relying much more on online communication, for example, or apps. And one thing I have to say is you can be communicating with somebody online through an app. You can discover that you have things in common. But essentially, until you start meeting in person, they're a stranger. And I'm saying this because the safety issues surrounding apps. Australia don't have the same laws as the US and Canada, for example. In the US and Canada, the apps can absolve themselves of any responsibility for what happens. And in absolving themselves of any responsibility of what happens, the apps don't do background checks. So just because somebody is on an app doesn't mean they're exactly who they're claiming to be. And who hasn't fudged the truth when there's no checking up? I have. I've fudged the truth. Haven't lied, but I've skirted issues and ignored issues. But dating using an app can be dangerous because we can communicate with somebody for months just on the app. And yes, it's convenient. Yes, it's easy. But essentially, that person we've been communicating with for months is a stranger. And the ones that seek to do harm will keep the communication going for months online. And statistically, psychologically, it's been shown that the app is a false sense of security. Because you've been communicating for months, for whatever reason you can't meet in person, the length of communication is tied into the trust meter. So if we've been communicating with somebody for 3 months, our human psyche believes that we can trust this person after 3 months. However, you have not met that person in real life. And meeting that person in real life, the first time you meet them in real life should be counted as date number 1. And no matter how you resonate, your safety should be a priority. Or has to be a priority. Your safety. So don't get them to pick you up. Yes, in times where our families would instigate the meetup, it was the knight in shining armour that would pick you up from your home for the first date. That went a long time ago. Your safety is number 1. And just to give you an idea of how important this is, most of you know I do private readings in my daily life. Most of you know that I attend a church regularly. I met a person once at the church who, through mutual friends, discovered I did private readings. Asked me for my phone number to book a private reading. And I always give it out, my phone number. And something was telling me not to do it at my usual venue, which I found strange. Like, I have a gut instinct. My gut instinct was saying, don't do this at your usual venue. And we negotiated. Yes, I had time. Yes, I was in the area where this person lived. So I did it at their home. And it turned out this person had no regard for my boundaries. They started communicating as if we were best friends. And it's like, I've met you twice. I've talked to you once and I've done a reading for you. And even when I said it was making me uncomfortable, they continued with the almost like the reply text to my being uncomfortable was stalkerish. And it's the same with dating. Yes, we can know, like this person, oh, look, I'm used to it. I know how to assert my boundaries and I'm quite comfortable in doing so. I've had to be. So I asserted my boundaries. And the response text to me being uncomfortable was stalkerish. And I met this person in the church service. And that person knew other people, but something inside me said, don't do it at your usual venue. So I listened to it. I'm fortunate to have that gut instinct. A lot of people don't, because the head and the heart sometimes argue with one another. So put your safety as number one. And remember that until you meet them for the first time in person, they're a stranger. Yes, you might have been communicating online or via Messenger, Snapchat, whatever app you use, and you might think that you're doing all the right things, but just remember your body is going to be arguing with itself, saying, oh, but I've been talking to this person in depth online. I should be able to trust this person after 3 months. No, you haven't met them. And I want to say, if it's a person that cares about your safety as much as you should be caring about your safety, they're going to understand that you need that slow progression of in-person. And it's unfortunate that the apps in so many different countries can legally get out of responsibility for not doing some basic background checks. And it is scary to note. I've done my research on this before streaming today, and the statistics are quite frightening. And 3 months seems to be the length of time that those who wish to do harm will keep you messaging. And 3 months is also the time where your trust barrier starts coming down. And to let somebody into every aspect of your life without having met them in person, it's not protecting your safety. So yes, the apps make it convenient to meet people. Yes, we can do a video date. That's still not meeting them in person. Your gut instinct, and everybody has a gut instinct, by the way. Your gut instinct is stronger if you keep saying the in person. Because I know there's people that believe in pheromones, there's people that don't believe in pheromones. I'm on the fence with pheromones. However, I'm not on the fence with our gut instinct, where you walk into a room and you feel unsafe. That happens. And that is built into our mammalian brain. We have a mammal's brain that started millennia ago. And that is there for a reason. It's there to allow us to fight or flight. So we can flee a situation, or we can prepare ourselves to stand and fight. And the 3 months of communication, that fight or flight response is lessened. So keep repeating. If you are looking at apps, if you are swiping left, right, whatever it is, remember that the app has not done a background check. The app does not know if this person is using their correct name. This app does not know if the person is using false details. And if you look at how easy it was for you to sign up to a dating app, all they needed was a mobile number and an email address. As long as you had those two things, which anybody can get anytime, as long as you had those two things, you could create an app. You could create a profile in an app. And you could say whatever you want, and there was nothing to check whether that was real. And for that reason, please keep in mind that the app is like an old introductory service. It is not meeting in person. And I do know some people out there that are like, well, if they don't respond to me within 2 days or 2 hours, depending on how strict you are, I block them. Well, just remember, if somebody does you harm, they can block you before you've even had a chance to raise the alarm to authorities. And statistically, that is actually how the wrongdoers who are misusing the apps are behaving. They will block you. And then you've got no picture to show. They might match their picture when you meet them in person, but if they've done you harm, you've got no reference to show authorities. Because the app deletes all messages. So there's been instances where people have met on apps and somebody has done harm to the other, and they've turned it round. They've blocked the person, which deletes all communication, and they've actually turned it round to the innocent doing harm on the other person. Another thing is identity theft. Identity thieves use the apps. Our desire for love is so strong that we do let some of our boundaries down. And we have to fight that, because the introductory service that the apps provide, which I must admit in this day and age is actually good. But please don't drop your safety as a result of the app. The app has introduced you. There used to be old matchmaking services, for example. And the app has introduced you. That's it. It's not a friend that's introduced you, so they know nothing about the person's background. Just consider it someone who wants money has introduced you. And that's basically what the app is. It's making money from introducing you. And as I said, the dating apps do have a purpose in today's day and age. I'm not saying discard them. I am saying put your safety as a number one priority, please. And if you don't believe that there are people who would misuse the app, feel free to do your own research. Google it and do your own research that way. But I'm sensing that there are people in the queue wanting a read. But I'm going to... I lost myself for a little while. I know I have. But turning to an app, would I do it? Should I do it? You have your say, chat. Have your say. Would you do it? Turning to an app just to spice things up for yourself. And I know some apps are considered hookup sites now, and it's the same for everyone. I've seen, it's sad that people have done that for millennia. It's just that the line between good and bad is a lot harder to judge now. It's a lot harder to judge. And if we want to look, to me there's not good and bad. There's a grey area in between, but just for the sake of the stream, we'll stick to good and bad. I've lost myself for a while. Would I turn to an app or Plenty of Fish or something like that to find myself again? No. My safety is number one. Yes, I do attend church. Yes, I do lecture at church. Yes, I do hold public meetings. But my safety is number one. Because when I get home and kick my shoes off, the last thing I want is someone coming to my door. So my safety is number one. And I was hoping that this would get the chat buzzing. But if you've got love questions of your own, I'm quite willing to save the second part of this for later. I know in Just Chatting there are a lot of established people. And my established criteria is tarot, which for most of you, you know it's tomorrow. It's Tune In Tuesdays. But I get so many love questions as a tarot reader that it's like, does this person like me? And it's like, find out. I wouldn't want to trust it to the tarot, even though I'm a huge believer. You're listening to your words on love. Well, Calypso, if you've got a question you want covered, I've got plenty of opinions when it comes to love, because it is the most requested tarot read, particularly in the last 5 years. And I'm a mental medium. So, and that means that I channel through loved ones who have passed over. And publicly, yes, they still come out, they still see me. But it's changed. The majority of follow-up question or follow-up communication from the spirit world has gone to, please love yourself first. And I find that very general. And if you've been in my stream for a while, you will understand why I find it very general. It's not specific to any person. And yet it seems to be what comes through from the spirit world the most is love yourself first. Love even the things you dislike about yourself. And if you've heard people use the term shadow work, that's what shadow work is the things you dislike about yourself is your shadow form. And the term actually comes from psychology. You're in a relationship that's extremely fulfilling. Well, that's awesome. See, I would not trust tarot with my relationship. That's one thing I wouldn't. How do you tackle worries and fears of the unknown? There's always going to be unknown. It's how the two of you handle it as a couple. Yeah, but shadow work is a psychological term. So I find it very difficult when people, if you know me, you know my background is in psychology. And it's a very Freudian, Jungian term. Because the shadow self is everything we dislike about ourselves. But if we love even that which we dislike about ourselves as being part of us, I dislike about myself that I'm a people pleaser. I do know, I've known my whole life I'm a people pleaser. I dislike that about myself. I wish sometimes I could just say, no, rack off, get lost. But, and also, when someone rings and says they're going to turn up, and it's like I'm just planning to do something, I will put off 100% of the time. I will put off what I'm planning to do just because this person rang. Oh, you were definitely meant to be in the stream. Yeah, I wouldn't trust my relation. That's me as a person. I know some people that check in with tarot daily. And a tarot reader as accurate as they can be. There's divine timing, and a tarot doesn't always stick to this week or today. Tarot opens Pandora's box, if you like, because it opens a world that is sometimes months away. And enjoying what we have now, because sometimes a fear that may come through tarot can sabotage a rocky patch in a relationship, because it can enhance the fear. Think of it like a demon. I don't like to use the word demon in tarot because I don't believe that's the case. But if it sparked a fear in you, that fear then enters your relationship at a pivotal point. And there's some things in life, as we journey through life, that we're supposed to go through. Not all, but there are some things we're supposed to go through. And if we focus on how we handle challenges as a couple, if it's new, if it's existing, it's how you both handle incoming challenges. The world is always going to throw difficulties towards anyone, whether you're single or whether you're a couple. From what I've seen, lasting couples tend to band together during challenges. Hi, Scorpio Darkness. But yeah, the successful couples tend to band together whenever... Oh, still going on with this flu, Scorpio Darkness. And I am annoyed more than anything else. But yeah. Yeah, it's not one person. And tarot can only introduce confusion. I do relationship readings, but I respect those that won't. And there are a few on Twitch. You probably already know them. There are a few tarot readers that won't do relationship reads, because of that fact that the time in which you're reading for is never, like, you don't turn over a card and it's got the date at the top. You never do that. And there's a reason for that. Because tarot, unless you're doing it yourself for yourself, it's never a daily check-in. And even if you are doing it for yourself, you'll find the daily check-ins to be confusing. When it comes to love, it should be more instinctual on your part, not on an intuitive's part. An intuitive can sometimes pick up what's going on. An intuitive can sometimes, yes, get it right on occasion. But see, exactly, Calypso, if you love one another enough to communicate and put in effort, no matter what life throws your way, you've got a strong relationship. And like I'm nearly 56. In a month, actually, for you guys out there, in 1 month I'll be 56. And in those 56 years, the only thing I've noticed is that when it comes to love, we're born to love. We're born to love others. It's in our blood. It's in our makeup as people. The 8th of next month is my birthday. So, yes, I'll try and do a celebrate stream. We'll see how we go. And this is where I come to Love and Other Mysteries. I'm hoping my person will actually do the right thing. They've been put on call on my birthday. It's happened in the past. We've been together long enough that it's happened in the past. And they used to always get somebody to fill in that day so that they could at least have dinner with me. And I don't think they're going to this year. And I always told them if they skip my birthday, that's a bad sign. So, yes, I've lost myself because I haven't spoken up about it yet. And I've known ever since they let me know their diary, I've known that they weren't going, they were on call during my birthday. Okay, fair enough. Excuse me, people. This flu is really bugging me. It's only bugging me because it's hung around forever. But back to love. I hope I recover soon too, Scorpio Darkness. Well, after 10 years, Calypso, you would understand. You pick your battles. In long-term relationships, sometimes you have to be the one to compromise. At other times, you can be the person that puts your foot down. And a strong connection, a cooperative connection, will always know which is right. So, and my cooperative connection is telling me that I need to put my foot down. Ah! In true Scorpio style, believe it or not. And, oh, thank you, Scorpio Darkness. Yes, I hope I recover soon. It's just annoying more than anything else. I feel fine. I had enough energy to clean. When I say clean, I needed to dust the bed head, and I had enough energy to do that, but that was it. But yeah, losing yourself. Can you lose yourself within a committed relationship? Yes, you can. And it doesn't matter how strong an individual you are, because anybody that knows me knows that I'm a pretty strong and determined individual. And I've lost myself. Yeah. Oh, I totally get that, Calypso. I wish my person would actually... I've done things to show interest in their interests, to the point that I even bought myself a pair of boots that I'll only ever wear when participating in one of their hobbies. And it hasn't been the same in the reverse. Yeah, but you understand that there's another issue at play, Calypso, and that's good. But at times you do have to get to a point where you put your foot down. And I've lost myself. I've totally lost myself in a relationship where, a year down the track I wake up and think, why don't I do that anymore? Yeah, you have to pick your battles. You're right there, Calypso. I hide behind material things. Oh, I can relate to this one. Although I've corrected this behaviour. I used to... Yeah, but it can be very hard rediscovering yourself. But I've done it. And I've done it within the relationship. So, moving forward, I'm okay. But hiding behind material things, who hasn't done that? I do know there's probably somebody even in the viewers that has felt hurt within a relationship and has gone out and bought a new outfit. Frost Soul, welcome in. It's Love and Other Mysteries today. Love and Other Mysteries. So, losing yourself in a relationship, it can happen. Because there's always someone that is going to be... A good, healthy relationship involves compassion, compromise, and consideration. The 3 C's. Compassion, compromise, and consideration. And the compromise part, there is always going to be, not always, but most of the time, someone will compromise. Is it normal to have a premonition where the world ends? Not getting into that in love stream, Frosso. Yeah, that's what my mind immediately said, Scorpio Darkness. Yikes. Where did that come out of love? It didn't come out of love. Yeah, I would check your anxiety level, Frost Soul. I don't get negative premonitions. Anyway, back to love. Hiding behind material things. I do know in Australia that we have a common reference. If somebody drives an ultra flashy car or an ultra expensive car, and usually has the appearance of a male, females will say that they're compensating for something. And so the person with the standard sedan is more likely to be an okay size, whereas the person with the flashy car or the SUV will be the person that has to compensate for size. And it's just a funny way of, well, you can stay here and drag down the stream, Frost Soul, or you can ask another tarot reader or another intuitive. I'm not talking about end of days stuff. If you want to talk about end of days, you create your own just chatting. I'm sure you'll have heaps of people just chatting. They want to chat about the negativity, not about the positivity. Today is about the positivity. And yes, hiding behind material things. Okay, Frost Soul, if you're not willing to listen, okay, no, there we go. Okay, there we go. Time out. 10 minutes. I've just timed out Frost Soul. I feel that overtaking a love stream with such comments is unprofessional. And I do know that my chat is mostly professional and going with the flow. So, yes, hiding behind material things. When things aren't working in the relationship, we can sometimes look at spending. We can look at increasing our material happiness to fill that void. And in doing so, all we're doing is accumulating stuff. Half the time, the material things we're desiring are unneeded. They're not unimportant because they're filling that void, but they're unneeded. So, yeah, when things get rocky in love, there are times where people do tend to hide behind materialism. Another example is going out and getting a haircut, going out and buying tools. If you're looking at, I've bought a hammer when things haven't gone okay in a relationship. I know that sounds like it might be dangerous, but I needed a hammer. So things weren't going well, and all of a sudden I discovered a whole list of these materialistic things that I needed. And it's always trying to fill that void. And it can be as simple as an argument that hasn't been resolved or a disagreement that hasn't been resolved. And we can hide behind the materialistic. And hiding behind that materialism, yeah, we end up with full cupboards, or we end up with a new hairdo or a new wardrobe, but we don't end up with happiness. Okay. I'm starting to understand our connection. Now, Supra, welcome in. I'm doing okay. Still got a bit of the flu symptoms hanging around, but doing okay. Now, this is where I started the stream with our internal self recognizing safety. And our connection to another is being drawn towards someone or repelled from someone. And I know it happens to me. All I have to do is get in a lift or elevator, depending on where you're from. All I have to do is get in that elevator and I can sense that there's someone in there that I'm really going to vibe with. Does that mean it's going to be a romantic connection? Not always. If you're going to vibe with somebody, vibe with them. But don't automatically jump to relationship. And I do believe this relates to the first part of the stream, where I was saying apps make it easy to connect with people. The vibing with them does not happen until the first meet. So don't be lulled into a false sense of security by an app that takes no responsibility for a background check on a person. Allow your gut instinct or your vibe to tell you whether this person is safe. So try and keep the app communication to a minimal. It's really meant to say, okay, you've matched with this person, meet up, find out if there's something there. Not, oh, you've matched with the... They use psychological tricks in apps too. The same as casinos do on the slot machines. They say you've matched with the person. It does not mean anything. It just means that there's a mutual, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind getting to know this one. There's nothing else there other than, oh, I like the pics. Because seriously, there's not many people that actually read the descriptions. And I was reading in the study I was reading had to do with apps. And the lack of, the pics are so empty. You're right, Scorpio Darkness. But so many people get into the communication habit on the app. And it can be drawn out for quite some time. And there can be inappropriate comments that are dismissed because that's the way people talk in Messenger. I'm sorry, it's not the way I talk in a date. So, nah, see ya. And it's been shown that people are more forward when using apps than they would be in person. So the essence of using an app to meet someone for the first time is so that the messaging function is there so that you can use the messaging function to arrange a meet. And from what I was reading, with the statistics being so high about non-pure people or non-pure intentioned people, Snapchat the conversation, Snapchat the pic. Not Snapchat, screenshot the conversation, screenshot the pic. Because if this person, and I'm not wishing it on anyone, but if this person turns out to be someone wishing to do harm, you then have something to take to the authorities. If you meet them in person and they're you vibe well with them and want a second date, yes, plan a second date. But it doesn't mean you have to automatically give them all of your contact info. You can still communicate on the app until you feel safe. So, yeah, and sometimes our intuition can misguide us. We can sometimes get a vibe, but it's not, oh, I got to know this person better. It's like heart fluttering vibe because they look like my friend's partner. And that can be envy talking. So be careful of what vibe you're getting. And give it time, because time will tell you whether they are vibing with you, or whether they're vibing with your jealousy, or whether they're vibing with your lust. I am not available. Even though you're on a dating app, it is fine to say you are not available. And sometimes, you know what they say, the predator knows their prey. So if their prey has no boundaries, for example, or has a lot of free time, then the predator can sometimes assume that they're always going to be available. And that can be a danger sign predator-wise, predator-prey. And yes, dating is predator-prey. I remember when meeting at nightclubs was a thing. There were certain nightclubs that were called meat markets. It was predator-prey. And those who have been in my stream long enough know that I have actually attended LGBTQI clubs, just as I've attended straight clubs. And it's the same at both clubs. There's always this pack that wait at the edge of the dance floor with the drinks. And in straight clubs, it's usually the guys. Okay? LGBTQI, it's mixed. But there's always this pack waiting at the edge of the dance floor with drinks. And even then it was a meat market. It was predator-prey. So find a way to say you're not available. Have a hobby. That's something you do regularly. And you're not available. So don't be so eager to drop your hobbies just because somebody shows interest. And that's what the match is. Yes, your app might glow sparkly things saying you're matched and all of this stuff. It's a psychological trick, the same as casino games use lights and sounds to emphasize luck. The app is no different in meeting people. And always have your interests and keep them. And don't be afraid to say you're not available. I bury myself in work to forget you. Oh, this is a red flag for me, because I did it. I buried myself in work for like 3 years to forget someone. And I want to say that everybody in the viewers has probably done this to some degree or another. Maybe not 3 years like me, but I was a workaholic. Don't forget that. I was a workaholic. And it can be dangerous to bury yourself in work, because then all you've got is work. And work doesn't fulfill when you get home. You may have an excellent day, You may have an excellent day at work where everything goes right. You get home and there's no one to tell it to. And it was having a succession of wonderful days where I had no one to tell it to. Oh, who's kidding? I had an excellent 6 months. And I'd go home and there'd be no one to tell it to. And I thought, okay, there's got to be more to life than this. And sometimes you can actually undo a successful work pattern just by realizing you've buried yourself in work. And that's where it's a bit tied down. I am going to do the Be Right Back, only because I have to blow my nose. So I will be back in a second. Sorry about that. I realised I did the Be Right Back and then realised I only had one other tissue. And yeah, the cold's still hanging around, but I'll get over it. Now, I did turn over the other card, and it's like they followed one after the other. I bury myself in work for you, and you were the best thing in my life. Or to forget about you. And I want to say the pivotal point here is were. If someone is out of your life, they are essentially out. And moving on can be the hardest. Oh, and I love it when the chat chats. Moving on with your own life can be the hardest because, and we've got a pattern here, because we started off, I lost myself for a little while. I hide behind material things. Yeah, I bury myself in work, and you were the best thing in my life. So getting over a love can be pretty difficult. And the main thing that holds us back from getting over somebody is the were part. Oh, eating sushi. Oh, that sounds yummy. The were part, it's like our normal selves are going to ask a very natural question. Why didn't they love me? And I want to say that they did. To be with you, some part of them actually did. But, like, we're talking sushi, and Supra's just said, I love sushi. I love Lucy. That's a line from a movie. If you can tell me the movie, I'll find a way of getting you some channel points. I love sushi. I love Lucy. It's dialogue out of a movie. What's my favourite sushi? I have to say, crab meat rolls with the rice and the nasi goreng. But anyway, back to love. You were the best thing in my life. It's the were that we're stuck on. It's not that they were the best thing, because your life isn't over. It doesn't matter where you are in life. Your life's not over, so they may have been the best thing to that point in your life. So the brooding over somebody that we've lost in the love game is, we've lost them for a reason, but there's a more compatible love. And I've seen people actually have their lives ruined at the end of a relationship, holding on to the you were the best thing in my life. If we put at the end of that sentence, you were the best thing until now, because breaking your heart is not the best thing. So if they were the best thing in your life, put until now at the end, because it does not mean that there's better out there or more compatible out there. And they were, so they're no longer part of. And it's that grieving that we do have to come to terms with. And that can be the hardest part of a relationship, is that we are investing. We're investing our time. And time is something you never get back. Ever. We don't have time machines yet. Time's something you never get back. So we're investing our time. We're investing our emotions. And some people invest financially as well. If they were the best thing in your life, any investment you made financially, think of those best things. Because then you don't have to think about the financially. You do have to start again. But the best part is you can start again. And if the person concerned was supposed to be an ongoing best thing, they would not have hurt you. And it comes to another point that was raised on another platform I did see, where people stay together and it's not good for either of them, and yet they think, okay, this is what I've got. And there's nothing wrong with investing. There's nothing wrong with saying, let's work through this. But if you're the only one working, or the only one, you feel like the only one working, you feel like you're alone within a relationship, who is it that needs to end the relationship? If you're feeling like you're alone, why haven't you already ended it? It's because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But dragging it out for years just because you might not dislike one another, but dragging it out for years when you know there's nothing of substance is hurtful to both parties. But like Calypso said, if you're in a committed relationship and you do know that there is a dialogue where problem solving and overcoming things is part of the relationship, then yes, it's still worth it. Because the love and the desire for the relationship and the individual are there together. I hope that you can forgive me one day. Well, this is where sometimes in a relationship, being honest with ourselves can involve emotional hurt for the other person. But which is right and which is wrong? Dragging out a situation where nobody's happy, or doing the right thing knowing it could potentially have emotional harm, and asking that one day I hope you can forgive me because there was a like there. Maybe not a romantic love, but there was a like there. And it's the people that we like that we want forgiveness from. It's the people we love we want forgiveness from within the relationship. But within a relationship, that's more immediate. Forgiveness is a more immediate thing. Whereas I feel this is the need to tell the truth. And if you are meant to be, you will work through a truth situation. And that truth situation will one day set you free. It depends how much guilt comes behind the truth situation, but, well, how long has the relationship dragged out? Who knows? And yet, this all started from apps, and I've just used the cards. Oh, there you go. It's time for me to heal now. So sometimes healing needs to come, because the loss of a relationship is like a grief. Okay, there we go. The loss of a relationship is like a grief. It's like we're grieving something. And it's the same changing jobs, for example. It's like grief. You're having to say goodbye to one part before you move on to another. And the grieving process in change, anything in life that changes is a grieving process. And you do have to grieve that change. You have to grieve what had come before to be able to move on to what comes next. And it doesn't matter how anyone identifies. I've seen on other streams people saying, oh, men need to do this if they want love. Women need to do this if they want love from a man. You know, and I'm like, no, it's a mutual thing. Thank you, Sabra, for the hydrate. Hello, Blue Moss Dragonette. Welcome in. And I'm just talking about the end of relationships, how we do need to grieve the end of a relationship because it's been part of our lives, part of our essence. Oh, I mustn't be seeing blue. Oh, yeah, Blue Moss Dragonette. Now I get it. But because something's been part of our lives and we've incorporated it into our life, we do have to allow healing time. And it goes back to what I was saying, that on the dating apps, I'm not available is okay. Because to heal properly, you do have to go through a cycle where you're rediscovering who your essence is. And rediscovering who your essence is can take time. So that's why I say sacrificing hobbies or company you like to keep or your normal communication habits, for example. It's unhealthy because you're sacrificing the essence of yourself. And that's a true person that falls for you is a person that likes your essence. So they like all of those factors. And yes, there are different love languages. For some, those factors may be different. But they were just my factors that I picked out. I couldn't let you close to me. Now this is relevant because if you don't heal properly, you can't let the next person close. And I've been in situations where I've had friends, not romantic friends, but friends who have tried to help pick up the pieces. And I haven't been able to let them close because I feel like I suppose there's guilt there. Because you do sacrifice some of your time with your friends for a relationship. And sacrificing that time with friends for a relationship can lead to guilt between friends. And so letting friends close can sometimes be difficult after a relationship ends. But there's a saying, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And I really and truly believe that. So if you're going through a hard time after a breakup, please don't give up. Please know that you can find your essence again. Please let your friends back in. because they're the ones that are there forever. Express your guilt. If you're feeling guilty in not letting close friends back in, express your guilt. Express, I'm sorry I sacrificed our friendship for this person. And the right person should be able to merge with your friends. And that's the beauty of friendship. It's always there. And I can sort of mentally hear people saying, but my person doesn't like any of my friends. They may not like them, but in a gathering, so you can be close to your friends, they will be supportive. Not everybody is going to get along with everybody. Not everybody vibes with everybody. And it was my fault, but I blamed you. This is the gaslighting. And who hasn't been so hurt that they've lashed out and blamed? I have, but that was a few decades ago. I lashed out and I blamed. But the reason I lashed out and blamed was because I didn't take responsibility for what I was investing. I was investing way too much. The other person was taking, so yeah, they were doing a bad thing. But it was my responsibility to maintain my investment to match the other person's. And if anyone has a relationship question, now would be the time to ask, because I'm going to have a drink. And I think I'm overcoming the hurdle. And Sabra, if you're still there, I haven't had a confirmation for tomorrow. Just let me know what your movements are tomorrow if you're unavailable. And yes, relationship questions. The chat is open for relationship questions. And I'll give my honest opinion. And not tarot. Okay, Blue Moss Dragonette, go for it. And I feel like it's one that has something to do with starting a new one. Because that's what the stream started with. Oh, look, Sabra, it is, haha. That's okay, don't worry. If you can hear me, Josh, don't worry about it. If you have a class at 4, if it'll be